Good day to you all. I am Lee Perry. I am the Pirate Therapist, and you are listening to the Pirate Therapist podcast. If you're anything like me, you've gotten really good at pretending that you're fine while quite often you could be falling apart inside. There's a moment that sneaks up on you. You're staring at your calendar or your inbox or your pile of dishes in the sink, and you realize you're not actually choosing anything anymore. You're just responding, you're surviving, you're just reacting. You're saying yes because it's easier than feeling guilty by saying no. On the outside, your ship may look solid. You're showing up, you're doing the work, you're taking care of everyone else in their storms. Maybe you're cracking jokes. Maybe you're still answering texts, still posting like everything's under control. But on the inside, the timbers are creaking, the compass feels off. You catch yourself thinking, if one more person needs one more thing from me, I might scream. Mm, That's kind of burnout. That it's not just I'm tired and I need a nap. It's deeper than that. It's heavier. It's exhaustion where your body feels like it's made of wet rope and your joy has quietly slipped overboard without you noticing. The things that used to light you up now feel like obligations. You're present, but oftentimes that's more physical than mental or emotional. So today I want to talk about something we almost treat like a crime in this culture: stopping, dropping anchor, letting the sails down, giving yourself permission to refuel before the mast snaps and the whole ship goes under. This isn't laziness. It's not a character flaw. It's maintenance. It's repair. It's what lets you keep showing up in life that actually feels like yours instead of a life that you're just barely surviving. So, if you're listening to this in your car or on a walk or hiding in the bathroom between responsibilities, take a breath. Just breathe deep, let it out. Do that a few times. Just feel your feet on the floor, on the ground, wherever you are. Just try and connect yourself. Feel grounded, feel relaxed, breathe deep, let it out. Today's voyage is about burnout and the radical, uncomfortable, but necessary art of recharging before you disappear. As you imagine the sounds of the harbor fading behind us and the open water stretching out ahead of us, let's find out what it really means to care for the one person that you cannot replace on this ship. You. Burnout is one of those words we toss around a lot, but I want to slow it down with you for a minute and really name what it is. Burnout isn't just busy, it's not just tired. Lots of us are busy and tired, and we still feel some spark inside. Burnout is what happens when that spark has been working overtime for so long that it starts to dim, and no one, not even you, has stopped to ask how the fire is actually doing. On the surface, burnout can look surprisingly functional. You're getting the work done, you're still answering messages, still showing up for your people. Maybe you're even still cracking jokes and posting, and you're still the reliable one that everybody leans on. But inside, someone it's like someone has quietly turned the saturation down on your whole life. Things start to feel gray and flat. You catch yourself thinking, I don't care. Oftentimes about things that you used to care about, things you know you care about. Emotionally, burnout feels like the kind of hollowed out exhaustion. It's not the kind you fix with one good night's sleep, but the kind where you wake up tired, you go to bed tired, and in between you're just pushing. You might notice you're a little more irritable, more checked out or numb, but you may even notice that silly little things will set you off. Or maybe even nothing sets you off because you don't have the energy to react to it. Now, psychologically, it's a painful mix of I'm not doing enough and I literally have nothing left to give. You might hear a voice in your head saying that other people can handle this. Why can't I? Or if you were stronger, you'd be fine. So now, if you keep going because slowing down feels like proof that the voice is right, well, then there's the identity piece. Burnout often creeps in where you care most: your creativity, your relationships and work, your caretaking. You don't just feel tired. You start wondering if you've lost yourself. Who am I if I can't keep up? What good am I if I can't keep up? Who am I if I'm not the helper, the high achiever, the one who's always coming through for people? What's going to happen to everyone I care about if I'm not there to hold it all together? So, when I say burnout, I'm talking about this combination of emotional exhaustion, that deep bone level tired where your feelings feel heavy or maybe far away. It includes cynicism or detachment, pulling back from things and people that matter to you, or at least used to matter to you, because you're running on fumes. It also includes a reduced sense of effectiveness, feeling like nothing you do really counts, or like you're failing even when you're objectively doing a lot. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, that could be me, I want you to notice what your body is doing right now. Are your shoulders tight? Is your jaw clenched? Do you feel like your brain's a little foggy? Maybe like you're on the verge of tears, or maybe you just feel weirdly blank. You don't have to fix any of it right now, not in this moment. I just want you to notice. Because naming burnout isn't about diagnosing you as broken, it's about finally telling the truth. You've been sailing in storm conditions for a long time, and your system is trying to get your attention. I want to talk to you about how burnout actually shows up in the day to day life, what it looks like in your mornings, your evenings, in your relationships, and your creativity. I want you to make it so you can start recognizing it not as a personal failing, but kind of as your body's signal. We've been talking about burnout like weather at sea, how it feels in your body and your day. Now, I want to bring in a psychological lens, not to make it clinical or cold, but to help you understand why this happens in such a predictable way. From a therapy perspective, burnout is what shows up when your inner system has been in go mode for too long without any real rest mode. Your nervous system is built with both. One side helps you focus, hustle, respond, solve. The other side helps you to digest, repair, sleep, helps you feel safe. When life or trauma or expectations push you to live almost entirely in that activated performance side, your body eventually starts throwing breakers. You feel foggy and numb. Your brain is scattered. You can't coalesce your thoughts into any kind of productive or coherent pattern. Maybe you just detach and nothing is really kind of connecting with you. It's nothing sounds like it's hitting home. And it's not because you're weak. It's because your system is trying to protect itself from being overloaded. If we look at this through a DBT lens, that's dialectical behavioral therapy lens, burnout is what happens when your emotional mind and your reasonable mind and your wise mind have been out of balance for too long. Maybe your emotion mind is constantly saying you can't let anyone down, or if you stop, everything will fall apart. Well, reasonable mind will chime in with, look at your to do list. There's no time to rest. Wise mind, the quieter mind, the more grounded part that knows you're human, keeps raising a hand saying, excuse me, you're at your limit, but it gets ignored day after day. And if we keep ignoring the wise mind, it's like sailing past every warning buoy until eventually we hit something. We hit a reef. Our ship takes damage. Attachment wise, burnout often grows in the spaces where we've learned early on that love, approval, or safety were tied to our performance, our ability to provide or perform in some manner for the people around us. If you grew up feeling like you needed to be the responsible one or the peacemaker, or maybe you were the achiever, or maybe you were just the kid that didn't cause any trouble, your nervous system may have wired in a rule that says, I'm only safe when I'm useful. Okay, fast forward to adulthood. That rule quietly drives you to say yes when you mean no, to work through sickness, to answer one more email at midnight, or to take one more emotional burden that was never yours to carry. So when you hit burnout, it's not just about a busy schedule. It's about a whole set of internal stories and survival strategies that once kept you afloat. Things like, if I stop, I'm going to be replaced, or maybe I'll be forgotten. If I say no, am I going to make someone angry at me? Am I going to make someone want to leave me or not want to be a part of my life anymore? Am I going to look at my worth and determine that it comes from what I do and not from who I am? These are not random thoughts. These are old maps. They made sense once. If you're listening to this, there's a good chance that those maps are now steering you straight into exhaustion. I'm not saying any of this to try and shame you. I'm saying it because when we understand burnout as a nervous system response and a survival pattern, it's not a moral failure. It becomes a lot easier to meet ourselves with compassion instead of criticism. You're not lazy and broken. You're someone who has adapted to very real pressures, and that adaptation comes at a cost. I want to walk with you through how those pressures play out in everyday life. The mornings that you dread and the evenings where you collapse, or the way your creativity and relationships shift so you can start to see the burnout not just how it is, but as a signal that something in your story is asking to be rewritten. If you picture your own life right now, where do you feel those old rules? Be useful, don't rest, don't need anything, just show up. Just show up more than everyone else. Well, let me tell you a story. Okay. We're going to try and stick with the theme here. So there's this captain. Maybe you recognize a bit of yourself in them. They're good at what they do. The true crew trusts them. And when the storm hits, people look to the captain before they even look at the sky. And the captain always shows up, tightens the ropes, calls the shots, calm the fears. If a sail tears, they're the first ones climbing to the mast, even when their hands are already blistered and bleeding. Over time, the ship starts to show wear, not the dramatic, cinematic kind, but more like a decay, a frayed rope here or there, a thin patch of wood that's maybe not ideal. A sail that doesn't quite catch the wind like it used to because there's some damage to it. Maybe there's some holes that need to be repaired. Well, the crew comes with their needs. Captain, this line is loose. Captain, my bunk is leaking. Captain, the map is out of date. And the captain responds every time, I've got it. Don't worry. I got this. I'll fix it. What no one notices, or what they notice and politely ignore, is that the captain's own quarters are falling apart. The boards are warped from years of taking on water. The lantern in the cabin burning low because the oil keeps getting siphoned to light the way for everyone else. Their bed is a mess. Their journal is half finished. Their meals are skipped or often half eaten. Maybe this captain is a therapist. Well, they hold space for everyone else's grief, trauma, anxiety, and burnout. They teach about self care and boundaries and balance genuinely, wholeheartedly. And then they go home and they skip meals. They stare at the wall, they doom scroll, and they tell themselves they don't have time to feel their own feelings because there are notes to write and clients to worry about. Maybe this captain is an artist. Maybe they're the one to come to for inspiration or collaboration. The magic that makes projects come alive. They pour themselves into every canvas, every script or track, every performance. When someone else's creative sails rips from self-doubt or for perfect, they rush over with encouragement and ideas. But in the quiet moments, their own sketchbooks gather dust. Their own songs sit incomplete. Their ideas feel heavy and joyless. Maybe the captain is you in your everyday life, the parent who holds everyone together, the friend who answers the late night calls, the employee or the leader who takes on the extra tasks because it's easier to just do it. You're fixing everyone else's sails, you're patching, you're reinforcing, you're tightening, all while your own is literally rotting in the salt air from neglect. You keep telling yourself, once things calm down, I'll take care of me. But the sea never really calms down, does it? There's always another wave, another need, another crisis. A ship can't keep sailing on a captain's willpower alone. When your own sail is shredded, you can know that everything about navigation and still absolutely go nowhere. When your own boards are weak, it doesn't matter how many other cabins you've repaired. Eventually, the ship starts to list, and everyone acts surprised, like it happened all at once. But it didn't. You saw the rot. You kept telling yourself that you could handle it. Well, burnout in this story isn't the moment the ship finally cracks. It's the long, slow period before that when the captain walks past their own broken things day after day and says, not yet, later, once everyone else is okay. It's the ache in your chest when you show up for another person with kindness you can't seem to offer to yourself. It's the resentment that creeps in, the numbness that follows, and the questions that whisper, who takes care of the caretaker? If any part of you is thinking, oh, that's me, that's my ship, I want you to notice what else is happening inside of you. Maybe there's shame, like somehow you failed because you're not able to do everything. You're not invincible. Maybe there's grief for the parts of you that have gone unattended. Maybe there's a tiny, fragile spark of anger and resentment that's actually saying, I deserve better than this. I want you to know you are not selfish for wanting to repair your own sail. You are not dramatic for admitting your cabin is flooded. And you're not weak for needing rest. You are a human being You are not an endless resource. As we leave this story, I want you to hold this image with you. The therapist, the artist, the captain, the caretaker, hands raw from fixing everyone else's rigging, walking back to a room that's falling apart. Not because they don't know how to fix it, but because somewhere along the way, they learned that their needs come last. So, next, I want to talk about the cost of living in that way, the toll that it takes on your body, on your mind, and on your relationships. I even want to talk about how it affects your sense of self and why learning to stop and to recharge isn't just a nice idea, it's about survival. When you picture the captain's quarters, your quarters, what's the first thing you notice that needs attention? So let's take a moment now and just breathe. I want you to take a deep breath, a deep cleansing breath. Exhale all the air out of your lungs. Then I want you to breathe in slowly, but I want you to fill your lungs all the way up. And I want you to do that a few times. Try and do it a little slower. What this does is it helps to calm down our heart rate. It helps to settle things down, and that's okay. We want to do that. I want you to feel the weight of your body wherever you're sitting or standing, the chair beneath you, the floor that's holding you up, the air that's moving through your lungs. This isn't a rush. This isn't a race to the next point. I want you to pause, a quiet place where we can sit with what is true. So we've met the captain and we've seen the rot in their own quarters. Now let's stay here a little longer. Let's listen to the creak of those timbers, the way that the sea is slapping against the hull, indifferent to the exhaustion inside, because burnout doesn't shout. It whispers, it accumulates. And if we don't turn towards it, if we don't let ourselves feel its slow pull, it takes more than we realize. So right now, I don't want to fix anything. We're just looking. We're feeling the cost of never putting your ship into dock, of believing that the constant motion is the only way to prove that you belong on this deck. Well, I want you to stay here with me right now in stillness. We're going to go slow. Your body knows before your mind does. That's how it starts with the nervous system. This brilliant ancient design meant to protect you. Picture it like the ship's alarm bells. One side, the gas pedal, revving you up to fight the storms and chase opportunities and meet demands. The sympathetic activation, they call it. It sharpens your focus, it quickens your pulse, and it keeps you vigilant. And this is useful for sprints, brilliant for emergencies. But what happens when every day feels like it's an emergency? Now, if we go to the other side, the parasympathetic, this is our brakes. This is supposed to pull us back. It's supposed to slow down our heart rate and ease our breath. It helps us to digest not just food, but life. It helps us to repair ourselves, to connect, to rest. It's the part that says the harbor is safe. Go ahead and drop anchor. Except when burnout sets in, you're stuck flooring the gas. Weeks turn into months of no true downtime, and your nervous system doesn't just get tired, it starts to fray. You feel it like as it's fatigue that caffeine can't touch, muscles that ache like you've been hauling cargo and doing it nonstop, sleep that's shallow or restless, leaving you more drained than restored. Your gut might twist, your digestion will slow, and appetite might fade, or it might increase because energy's all routed to survival mode. Headaches creep in, and your immune system whispers warnings with every cold that you can't shake. When the mind follows, the fog rolls in, you forget words mid-sentence, struggling to track conversations or decisions that once felt clear can now paralyze you. Emotions might go haywire. One moment numb, the next snapping at a spilled coffee like it's mutiny. Joy? Oh, it's there, distant, like a lighthouse that you can see, but you can't reach. Your body's not failing you. It's screaming through the exhaustion. It's telling you that we can't sustain this. This isn't a punishment. It's physics. A ship run aground doesn't sink in one crash. It grinds away, hull against rock until the damage is done. Your nervous system does the same when the rest becomes optional. So take another breath. I want you to breathe into this again. Notice if your body's carrying any of this, a tight chest or heavy limbs, that undercurrent of always on. This is information. That's all we're looking for right now. Information, not indictment. Next, we'll trace how this overdrive seeps into numbness and disconnection, the quiet theft of meaning from the things that used to be an anchor for you. And then the numbness settles in, like a salt spray that turns to ice on your skin. You're moving, you're checking boxes, you're nodding through meetings, you're saying all the right words, but the important part of you just isn't there. It's as if the world's gone two dimensional. Conversations feel like they're scripted. Laughter doesn't reach your chest. It doesn't reach your eyes. Even the people you love most start to seem distant, like shapes through fogged glass. You pull back. It's not out of anger, but because the connection takes energy and you don't have any. A text from a friend can go unanswered. And it's not out of spite. It's because that replying feels like you're climbing up another mast. Meaning way next. The work that once lit you up, the art, the helping, the creating, it all turns mechanical. Why am I even doing this? Whispers through your days, the inner compass, the one that pointed toward purpose. It starts to spin uselessly. Relationships fray at the edges. You're irritable with the ones you love the most. You can be withdrawn from the ones who need you. You can resent the ones who seem to have energy to spare. You might pick fights over nothing or avoid them altogether because both feel safer than feeling how empty you are. This is burnout's cruelest theft. It doesn't just tire the body, it hollows the soul. You start to doubt the voyage itself. Was I ever good at this? Did any of it ever matter? The captain who once scanned the horizons with hope now stares at the deck, wondering if the ship's even worth saving. This is not laziness, it's depletion. Your system, starved of rest, shuts down what it cannot sustain. But there's the whisper of hope in the dark. Numbness is a signal, not a sentence. It's your body saying, come back, dock the ship. Let's chip that ice off. So let's stop for a second and just take a pause. Where in your life has numbness crept in? What used to feel alive that now feels flat? No judgment, just look for it, spot it, witness it. Now, I want to meet a sailor from earlier, the one who refuses to anchor in the storm, and watch what happens when just one more, quote unquote, becomes the mantra that ends up breaking the mast. Now, we've lingered long enough on the fog and the burnout, felt its weight and its numbness and the slow unraveling. Now let's turn towards something vital. Let's look at rest as a necessity and not a nicety. Not a bubble bath when you have time, not a vacation when you earn it after proving your worth. Rest is oxygen for the captain who cannot steer without breath. It's the hull being patched before the next storm. It's the sails being mended before they tear even further. And without it, no amount of grit or grace will keep your ship afloat. Think of it like this: your body and mind aren't machines with infinite fuel. They are living systems designed to cycle and surge. They are designed to settle and give and restore. When you treat rest as optional, you're not being heroic. You're borrowing against a debt that you can't pay. The interest compounds in fatigue. It can be not just fatigue, but also resentment. You might end up collapsing. Rest is not an indulgence, it's engineering. It's the difference between sailing steady and drifting along lost. So we'll map how to claim it, not as a reward, but as a requirement that lets you show up whole and complete. Because the world needs you in good repair, not running around rotten from self neglect. Rest isn't just something that you squeeze in the storm while it passes. It's the deliberate act of dropping anchor and giving good repair and maintenance to your ship. Here's how it starts with permission. The hardest part for most of us, that inner voice screaming that we're lazy or selfish, it's lying. It's the old captain's log from when rest meant danger. But you're in command now. And you saying, I need this, isn't weakness, it's authority. So start small. 1 hour with no screens, no tasks, no guilt. Sit by a window or walk without your phone. Put your phone down for a while. That's a lot harder than a lot of people want to admit. Let your nervous system clock that it's safe to unwind. Your body will guide you if you listen. Are you craving sunlight? Well, go outside. It regulates your circadian rhythm. It cuts cortisol. It signals that the day is for doing, night is for repair, hungry is for quiet. So try to take a rest day, a tech Sabbath, something, one evening just offline. hands in the soil or maybe in the dough in the kitchen or in some warm water. Not productivity disguised as self care, but true idleness where thoughts can settle like the silt under the water. Sleep becomes non negotiable. 7 to 9 hours, pitch black room, no apologies. These are not luxuries most of the time. They're like bilge pumps that clear the flood. Layer in connection because isolation fuels the fog. Call a friend who doesn't need fixing. Just laugh. Laugh with a friend. Silence, presence, just being with them, connected to someone. Let someone touch you. Let them ground you. A hug, a pat. Touch the earth with your bare feet. Just move your body without an agenda. Just sway and stretch. Let your thoughts wander intentionally. Just daydream for a minute. It's okay. We can't always do that, but sometimes that's really nice to just daydream. We want to discharge the static of overdrive. Nature works the fastest. Go to a forest, get in the water, look up at the sky. Studies even show that 20 minutes outdoors drops stress hormones and boosts mood chemicals. Your system knows this rhythm and it's begging to return to it. This isn't a checklist to conquer, it's relearning breath. Rest rebuilds what burnout stole clarity and warmth and the ability to care without crumbling. You'll notice it in deeper inhales and the lighter steps, and you might see the joy starting to flicker back to life. So, what's one tiny bit of rest that you can claim today? Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Let it be your first act of command. DBT doesn't talk about rest, it arms you with skills to make it stick, turning vague good intentions into lifelines that you can grab in midstorm. So, in DBT, there's an acronym, and it's please. And this is the master key for treating yourself like someone worth keeping alive. So please, P stands for physical illness. Address it before it drags you under. Eat when you're hungry. Rest when your signal starts screaming. L stands for lack of sleep. Prior prioritize it like a direct order. No negotiating with midnight scrolls. E stands for eating off. Fuel simply, steadily. Nuts, fruit, broth, no perfection required. Just eat simple. A stands for anxiety or exercise. Move to just shake the tension. Even 5 minutes of swaying side to side, that movement, that getting the circulation going, it will help. And the S stands for substance use. Skip the numbing crutches. They are going to steal your wind from the sails tomorrow. And then E is emissions. Build routines that scream, I'm worth protecting. It's not pampering, it's preventing a mutiny in your own body. And then mindfulness drops anchor in a moment. I want you to check your limits without judgment. Where is my energy now? Full sails or tattered rags? Scan from head to toe. Notice the drag in your chest, the fog behind your eyes. Don't fix it right now, just observe. This is exhaustion, and it cuts the autopilot lie that you're fine when you're flooding. Another DBT skill is radical acceptance. And this is one of your more fierce weapons with DBT. Stop fighting reality. I am at capacity. I cannot do any more right now. And that's the truth of this tide. Say it out loud if you have to. Feel the relief in the surrender. No more battling waves that won't yield. From there, no becomes a holy no. I can't take that on. No, not this week. These are boundaries. They're not walls. They're ship's rails that keep you on board. They keep you from falling off into the sea. These aren't fluffy add-ons. They're DBT's rigging. They're practical and repeatable. They're forged for high-stakes seas. Practice one today. Whisper please to your plate. Accept the no you owe yourself. Mindful, check your sails. Watch how the ship steadies. When you start practicing these things, watch how you find your balance and you start getting some clarity in your thoughts again. What DBT feels most alive for you right now? The one your body's already nudging you towards? Creativity without agenda. That's where the real refueling happens, the kind that doesn't demand output or applause. You don't need to produce a masterpiece. Just show up for the act itself. The pen scratching across the paper with no goal but the rhythm of it. Doodle some waves, not diagrams. Let your hands wander through clay or thread or sand. Be messy, be free, be creative. Useless in the best possible way. One of my favorites, sing in the shower. Doesn't matter if you're off key, there's not likely going to be a whole lot of people to complain about it. So just when you're in the shower, don't worry about what other people think. You just sing. Hum a tune from your childhood, sing a song that really means something that moves you. Sway to that music. Move your hips. Don't slip in the shower, though. That would be bad. Just move your body, get the circulation going. Do it before your head catches up. This is a form of play, it's not performance. Your soul does not run on deadlines, it thrives on surprise. In your maker space, that laser, those materials, forget the orders of the moment. Just make a shape that feels good under your fingers, a spiral or a leaf, your initial in wild script. Watch the light dance on leather or wood and breathe the scent of your creation without the weight of selling it or stepping outside that. Finger paint with kids. Colors, stack rocks by a stream. Arrange wildflowers in a jar. No photo, no post, just the quiet joy of making something for its own sake. Doing it because you enjoy doing it. Nature amplifies this. Lie on the grass and cloud watch until your mind settles down. Wade into cold water barefoot. This time of year, it'll probably be pretty chilly, but just, maybe build a fire and stare into the flames. Let your stories rise unbidden. Your nervous system drinks this in. It's dopamine from delight. It's oxytocin from wonder, and cortisol is fading like the mist. This refuels because it reminds you that you are not your output. You are not. You are the one who dreams, who touches, who senses beauty before it's named. Burnout starves that spark. No agenda creation coaxes it back. It's soft as dawn. Try it now in your mind. What's one playful mark your hands itch to make? Let it live there first. Now, we're nearing the voyage's end, and I hope this will help send you off with repaired sails full, your ship in good shape, or at least on the direction to go to harbor and get your ship repaired. We've sailed through burnout's gray waters, and from its creeping definition to the toll on the body and the soul, to the hard won truth that rests in your ship's keel, not an afterthought. You felt the captain's frayed sails, the nervous system's fray, the numbness stealing meaning from you, and now you're carrying some tools. The DBT Please acronym. These skills, they steady the hull, mindfulness to read the wind, radical acceptance to calm your no creativity to reignite without pressure. This isn't theory. This is your map back to a voyage that makes you feel alive, where you steer from fullness and not from fumes. Take one step off this deck tonight. Drop anchor, dim your lights, and let your body soften. Just whisper to yourself, I'm worth the repair. The sea can wait. Your crew, inside and out, needs you to be in good shape. So until next time, make sure that your ship is kept in good repair. Fair winds, my black sheep. Keep fighting those societal norms that are unhealthy. Just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean it's good for you. It's why we're black sheep. We're going to buck that system. Have a good week. So until we sail next time, I'll see you then.